Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Between Two Preachers. I'm your host, Colby,
And I'm Carson.
and we got a few interesting topics lined up for you as always. We're going to start out. I'm going to lead off, anyways, as our I preached my first message the other day. That was pretty exciting. Carson, you were there.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. Pretty cool. Finally see you
I
up
don't know about
there.
that now. don't
Fin-
don't be telling no stories.
I mean,
But
it was definitely cool seeing you up there.
yeah, it was fun being up there and all, but I choked. I got up there and I wasn't in front of about maybe six people, if that, but I froze. I got so darn nervous. How long was I up there? You recorded it for me, but what a
Probably
grand
about,
total of 8 minutes, something like
yeah,
that.
probably about 6 minutes or so,
And
somewhere around
at half that, I was just trying to collect my nerves. It seemed like.
there. Yeah, when we were up there, when I first walked up there, I got there a little bit late, and there was only about, probably three or four people in there.
Yeah.
And I, then people just kept kind of filing in one after another. How were you getting nervous about that? Was it making you more and more nervous than you
It was. I was pretty comfortable with the Michael and the other two that were in there, and then we had Miss Laura walk in, and I wasn't worried about her, but her husband came with her, and it just the crowd started to get to me a little bit. And, well, I'm talking up there, and I got up there, and I mean it. I was able to collect myself for a minute and shove my old nerves back down and bottle them up, and I was able to get my verse out and maybe one or two sentences about it, and I mean that's all I could say. Cause it wasn't like
wasn't
just
like you? Yeah, yeah. Did you feel like you were gonna knock it out of the park when you got out there, or did you kind of
I
had a
did.
feeling it
I
was
was
gonna be rough?
I I kind of like thought about it and got excited and happy and was ready to like just set it ablaze up yonder. But I quickly found out that it wasn't as easy as what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I got confidence like for when mine's gonna be, but I'm sure I'm gonna. The closer it kind of gets, the more I kind of realize I'm probably gonna be probably getting choked up too and having those awkward silences, and it, it'd probably do
Yeah,
the same thing for me.
I asked Michael, the preacher, I said, after actual church service and stuff, it was only me there. Like, as in Kinsey, my wife had gone on vacation, and I so I stuck around after the service, and I asked him, I said, was it bad? And he said, well, I knew it was going to happen. And it, it made me feel a little bit better. He gave me a lot of encouragement and stuff, and everybody that was in there, like after you had left and stuff, they came up and told me I did good and stuff, and to keep at it because as Michael said, it's a snowball. It gets easier the more you get up there, and he's exactly right.
Oh yeah, yeah. You got another one coming up Sunday, said. I'm sure this one will go a whole lot better.
Yeah, it. I'm praying it does, Lord willing, it will. But I don't know. It still makes me nervous. I'm kind of thinking about what I want to preach on or teach on, but it ain't quite hit me yet. I'm really thinking about like worry. And me and Dad were having a conversation today about Matthew, I think chapter 5, about worry and stuff. Like whenever it's the Bible's talking about worry, whatever the Lord, whenever Jesus says, is the body not, I'm paraphrasing here, but is the body not more than clothes and life not more than bread, I believe.
Yeah.
And what it's saying is, I mean, he's not, and he says, don't worry about these things such as that the heathens do, paraphrased again, but what he's saying is that you're not going to have the best, you may not have the best of something, but God's not going to let you go naked, and he's not going to let you starve to death. You might not be eating a big T-bone steak,
Yeah.
but you'll have enough to where you're not
Enough to
dead of
make a turn.
starvation. Yeah, and you're not going to be running around there stark naked in your birthday suit. You
Uh-huh.
may you may be wearing some of Carson's dress or get up. It looks like he came out of
A cardboard box.
I'm glad you said it, not me.
Yeah, I got one of my little micro sermons is on that, so you can go ahead and just jot everything down I said in that one and roll with
Yeah, I let you do all the hard work.
it. Yeah,
But
that's a fun topic.
yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting to see like you start making headway in the church and stuff. Not in the fact that like, oh, look at me, I'm Mr. Preacher Man or anything, but it's exciting to be a part of God's kingdom and actually hold almost a
Position.
position. I don't, yeah, it, and actually contribute and see your contribution to it and see it grow.
Yeah, especially when you're called like us and feeling him just kind of like you're on a roller coaster and you're setting off, and it's like you're making that climb up that first big hill. It's kind of what it feels like. It's exciting, but there's gonna be some hard turns and
There's
loops
gonna be
and
some dips and flips along the way.
uh-huh. But that that ascent's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It's fun to me seeing how fast everything gets to rolling and everything. It seems like just yesterday, me and you started out on this journey. Whenever me and you were both called, and now it's just for no better example, like Michael said, like a snowball. I mean, we're rolling downhill and we're gaining speed and traction.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And like this what we're doing right now.
Yeah, I'm. We actually talked about it earlier, but this really is a form of ministry,
Oh yeah, 100%.
and we, I guess, in a way, need to start taking it more seriously. Sometimes I'm bad about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, we got day jobs and we got other stuff that, comes up in our life, but you know what, this is important too. We need to stay on top of it.
Yeah, I agree. Let's roll on into our second topic,
You
and
well,
that's
you had mentioned choking. Uh,
yeah, yeah. It reminded me of whenever I choked up there, and anyways, my mama was watching her other grandbaby, my sister's son Gilbert is what I call him, and anyway, she was watching him, and he was drinking some water, I believe, and he kind of got strangled. And I'm paranoid. I cannot stand to see somebody cough or strangle and start floundering a little bit, And he didn't do any of that. He just started coughing pretty heavily, trying to get it up, and he did. But it reminded me of the story of I know I probably told you, but it's funny looking back at it, but it scared the living daylights out of me whenever it happened. It was back whenever I still lived at home. Dad had made some pickled eggs, and I was sitting there. I ate all the white off of it. That's my favorite part. And then I got to the yolk, and I was sitting there eating it, and you know, like a teenage boy, you just cram it down your throat just as fast as you can put it in there. And I got, I, I stuffed that yolk down in my mouth, and I was chewing on it, eating it too fast, and I sucked it down my windpipe. And Dad, he was sitting over there in the chair, and I was standing up. He was watching TV, and I was standing up kind of parallel to the TV, off to the side a little bit. And whenever it went down my windpipe, I first tried to cough it up, and I couldn't cough. Like I was choked big time. Like it's the worst I've ever been choked for in my life. And anyways, I was sitting there trying to cough and get it up, and then I really got worried and started thrashing about over there trying to get it up, because about that time panic set in, and I screamed as hard as I could, and it'd come out just and I'm talking about I was trying to bellow, and I'm over there at this point. I'm sitting here like trying to point my neck and everything, like playing charades with Dad. And I look over at him, and he's still watching TV, not a worry in the world. And then finally I get his attention, but I ain't making no sound. I'm just bouncing around. And finally I kind of collect my nerves one last time. I mean, at this point, that desperation done set in. I'm going to have to save myself here. And I make one last go at it. I went to scream just as hard as I could, and luckily up it came. And I think what I was hurt most by was, I said, Dad, you didn't just sit there and see me choking and floundering about. I was sitting there playing charades with him nearly about, and oh, I'm sorry, buddy, I didn't even know you was choking. And I think it really hurt my feelings. I thought I was knocking on heaven's door over here, and and of course, you know, I'm sure I pouted up because of it after just sitting there feeling like Dad. Well, that's always one I look to whenever I have troubles or whatnot, and he couldn't even hardly be bothered by it. I felt almost betrayed.
So he didn't even glance over when you were trying to scream as hard as you could?
I think he may have got glanced over there. But apparently I wasn't portraying a choking person as much as I should have been. Boy, you talk about it, put the fear of God in me.
Oh, I bet. I never like choked before.
Yeah.
I never like got like where I just got strangled by something where I couldn't even like breathe like that. But not too long ago, maybe, I don't know, it was probably about 3 months ago. You know, Parker, he'd come down. He in the military, and he was in town. And you know, when he's in town, he's always at the house. But anyway, Amanda had made us some chicken, and I'm talking, she's paranoid of us, or like getting sick, especially with her being pregnant, getting sick with like E. coli or something.
Yeah.
So she put the flames to that chicken, like, and
Was it like shoe leather?
oh, it's like chewing gum, and then she put this crispies on it, or the crust, and I was eating on that chicken. Me and Parker were eating on that chicken, and I doing everything I can to chew that stuff up, get it down, and I guess that sucked a piece of that crust down my windpipe. And I could still breathe, but doggone it was hurting me, and I was trying to cough and cough and cough. And I looked over at Parker; his eyes looked about big as silver dollars, just over there looking at me. He's like, "You okay?" And I couldn't talk. I just gave him a thumbs up because I could breathe. It wasn't nothing he could do. And I was just over there just hacking and hacking, and I finally had to stand up and keep hacking, and I I don't know if it went all the way back down or what, but I finally managed to get it out. And then Parker was like, if you were choking, I wasn't going to help you. I wasn't going to do no. I mean, the whole time he's just sitting there just staring at me, and but he was pretty blunt about it. He wasn't gonna.
He was going to give you what they call prison CPR. It's where they take a foot and put it over there on your chest and blow at you.
Doggone, that hurt though. I'm done with that hurt. Like I had tears running down my face, and I was sitting there just coughing as hard as I could. And then you try to talk, and it's just like you can't get no voice out.
Yeah.
The whole time I wasn't panicked. I was kind of a little bit scared I would get choked, so I was trying to get it up as best I could.
Yeah.
I didn't take another bite of that daggone chicken after that. Man, I went and got something to eat. I got all over man as soon as she walked back through the door. Told her she was trying to kill me with that chewing gum. She served me. That crap hurt.
It for real. That's the scariest thing to me. There's been a lot of scary things happen to me and stuff. But to me, like, if you want to see me panic, it's let me get choked or let me see a child get choked or anything like that. I can't stand it, dude. I'll come unglued, and normally I'll jump into action. Like if it's Blakely or something, I'll snatch her up, or another kid or something. I don't even think about it,
Yeah.
Has
she ever got choked before?
She has, and
was it bad?
I want to say it was bad. I don't hardly remember it much anymore. Luckily, the little like infant days are behind us, thankfully. But
yeah,
she'd get coughing or something and couldn't breathe, and it makes me panic.
Did it go down the wrong pipe, or did she actually get like choked?
I think most of it, whenever she was little, just went down the wrong pipe or whatnot. But
yeah,
what you say? We swing it on into the next
scary
topic.
Too.
Yeah.
All right. What was the next topic? Was it the movie review, or
it was?
All right.
I think we're gonna start a new little trend here. Whenever a movie comes out, like a Christian movie or either a kids movie, something along that line, something that catches our attention, I'm gonna make a prediction on it. And Carson, he has a lot of free time, so he normally gets to go and watch it and enjoy the movie theater. But what we're gonna be reviewing today?
But the newest Pixar movie out of Disney is Elio.
Now, you went and watched it. I made some predictions before you did. I figured it was going to be like it. From watching the trailers, this kid wants to get abducted by aliens, and anytime there's a kid trying to get abducted or something like that, I mean, it set off red flags for me. A mile away, I could see it, and I could tell what this movie was going to be about. And I could eat my words here, but it was a lot of, in the trailer and stuff, I could pick up a lot of like kind of, what would you call them, Carson?
Yeah, like subliminal messages.
Yeah, kind of like underlying themes and tones of the movie and stuff, and I could tell it was going to be one that we would probably not approve of by just having a kid out there trying to get abducted and watching it and the trailers and all that. It was something that I could tell you right now I wouldn't approve of Blakely watching. Am I right on my predictions?
Yeah. For the most part, I wouldn't
give us a rundown.
Kids to watch it. Well,
really? What was wrong with it?
It just I'll start off with just if I'm just a regular movie reviewer, I'll just
Let's set this up. I sent you into the movie theater with a notebook, notepad to take notes.
Oh, I mean, I got a whole page of stuff. But I'll start off and I'll review it as not a non-Christian, but just a regular movie critic perspective. It
Yeah.
like the way it looks, like remember that trend where everybody was taking pictures of themselves and putting it through that filter where it's like make it looks like a Disney character, a Pixar character. You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about?
It
That's
looked to me. It looked to me like you remember that Grubhub commercial everybody hated whenever
yeah,
it
that's
where it's got that whistle and it's like you
that
know what I'm talking.
that might be that might be a better way of putting it. That I mean, it looked terrible. Like it looked so like just cheap. And I
Really?
mean, me and you grew up on watching like Pixar movies, like Cars and whatnot. And I mean, say what you want to, those movies they look good, but this one it just
Yeah.
looked terrible. And just from a story perspective, there's just about no plot whatsoever. It just there was no like he wanted to get I don't care about spoiling it, but he wanted to get abducted by aliens, and
Well,
he
why did he
does.
want to get abducted?
I don't know. He just had a fascination with aliens, and and if I struggle remembering something, I just watched it a couple hours ago. If that says anything about the movie, I've probably already forgotten 70% of it. I probably completely forget about it in the morning. It's just one of those kind of movies, and I'm not even like ragging on it when I'm saying that. It's just genuinely, it just wasn't a very good movie. But yeah,
Yeah.
just no plot. There's no like goal. It just things happen. Like he gets abducted by aliens, and he's like telling them he's like the leader of Earth, and he's supposed to go like be a make some deal with this hostile alien, and I don't know. Basically, things just start happening. There's just no
Rhyme or
like
reason.
yeah, just no plot. But some of the I'll say some of the good things about it. I think there was a cool concept there. It could have been a good movie. Like there's some
Yeah.
neat scenes in it, like, and the music was good in it. But other than that, I there's not much else I can say about it. Either I don't remember it, just wasn't good.
And so let's jump into the more of the Christian side of it, and like concerned parent, or trying to look out for all that junk they try to put in kids' heads nowadays.
Yeah. Well, the big one I would say is it almost kind of portrays having kids or kids themselves as like a burden. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
Like just
really?
how, yeah, kind of like what they did. Like I didn't watch it, but that Lilo and Stitch movie, how she dumped off Lilo and gave her up for adoption because she wanted to go do her own thing, basically like acting like kids are like a ball and chain. That was
They're
like
not.
a big. that was that was kind of the big no no in my book. To me, that was a really a big theme throughout the movie.
Really?
But yeah,
Was right about like the kids being abducted and junk? Was it?
I mean that wasn't a big theme, but it was definitely something I don't think they should have put in the movie at all. Like I think that was kind of a kind of just like I don't know. That was kind of silly. 'Cause, you don't want to put that in kids' heads where they want to be abducted. They don't really know what
Yeah.
it means. I don't know. There was just some weird scenes, and just like he gets abducted by the aliens, and they're like probing him, at him and stuff, and having him in all these weird positions, and I don't know. Maybe there is something to
Were
that.
they
So
sexualizing him?
I don't
Would you
know.
go that far?
I
Well,
mean,
what
not
do you know?
overtly. Maybe not overtly sexualizing them, but I don't know. There was just some weird things in there just kind of, I don't know, kind of gross you out. And I don't know, back to, or I forgot to say there was no real like characters in the movie that kind of stood out. No interesting characters. Everybody was just boring and lame.
Yeah.
And and another thing, they kind of just it's kind of something I noticed. I watched that movie Luca. Did you ever watch? You probably never watched that one. It was
Luca.
another like
I think I did. It was. I didn't watch it. You wouldn't have caught me dead in there watching that. But where they were dolphins or mermaids or something like that, and on dry.
yeah
It,
yeah
I could give you a basic like they were mermaids and somebody got captured or he didn't want to be a mermaid or something anymore or something like that.
yeah. It was a lot like that one. Like we're just like celebrating like weakness, like just like teaching boys to be like weak, you know. And the whole
Yeah.
time
It-
in Luca, he was like getting hoorahed around by that little girl, and his daddy was just
what
a
about
weakling that got hoorahed around by his wife. And
what about Elio or whatever his name is, Elio? I don't. I can't even tell you the darn name of it. But what about that one? Was I remember seeing the mom? Was she like a army person or like
yeah, she was like either I
a
guess she was,
soldier or something?
yeah, she was in the military. She was I don't know if she was in the Air Force or the Space Force, but she was yeah just dealt with like satellites and stuff. But she wasn't even the mom. She was like the aunt, I think. And I think his parents had died. And
Yeah.
but she kind of reinforced it in one thing. She was like, "This isn't the life I wanted to live." Talking about just taking care of a kid. It just kind of I felt like it kind of beat that in the brains, and even the kids that they're a burden. And that was the one of the big messages. And they kind of tried to slightly redeem it at the end, but
Well,
I
she
don't
let
know.
me guess. She like found out that she really truly loved him or something like that, or really truly missed him while he was gone and was worried about him or something like that to try to.
Yeah, kind of, sort of like that. It was he'd gone up in the spaceship, and they sent like a duplicate of him down to Earth, and she kind of picked up on it real quick that he wasn't the real one, and she finally found him, and I don't know, but it didn't really redeem it. It still kind of portrays kids as like a ball and chain that they're not. I don't it just I don't know it's not something I want
Yeah,
my kids seeing.
I'm gonna be honest. The Disney that me and you grew up with is different from the Disney that's now.
Yeah,
About the only thing that I would halfway let my child Blakely watch, other than something that me and you watched, like if I had to turn her loose unvetted, would be a what's it called? DreamWorks
yeah,
movie. Those every one that I have seen has never had anything that made me question. I mean, it'll have some adult humor in it, but nothing that a child would ever pick up on.
yeah, yeah. I I'm starting to think as far as Disney goes, it's mostly like not DreamWorks, but Pixar. Because
Yeah,
Disney
Pixar.
makes their own movies, but they have Pixar that makes their own. Like Pixar is like a company that Disney owns, and they make different movies, and then Disney themselves will make movies. And I watched that movie Encanto. Watched it for the first time the other night with me and Amanda, and it really wasn't that bad. There wasn't much
Was
out of it that I picked up that was really like I would, my son coming, I mean, I would probably just with it being a girl movie, he probably wouldn't be allowed to watch it. But if he saw it, it it would be fine because
yeah,
in that movie, like the granddad, he sacrifices himself for his family, and there was a lot of good messaging in it. I mean, there were some
yeah,
things here and there that kind of slightly make you cringe, kind of slightly make your antennas go up, but there was nothing like really bad. If I were you, I mean, it'll be something I would feel comfortable you letting like Blakely watch. It was a pretty
Yeah.
decent movie.
It sounds like it's kind of halfway like that Bridge to Terabithia, or not that one. What was the one where there was a book on it? It got popular about the time me and you were in grade school. It was
Oh,
had like a
Narnia.
little. No, that I like Narnia. What doggone it's gonna eat me up now? If anybody's in our age range listening, they'll probably know what I'm talking about. It was like they had like little. It wasn't gremlins, like little creatures and stuff that were in that house, and they moved into a house and they had to look through a spyglass. I can picture the kid that played in it, and but they had this book that they were reading, and it had all sorts of like info on like what creatures they were seeing through the spyglass. You know, like it had little trolls and that lived. Am I ringing any bells?
Maybe. I think I might
I
know what
remember
you're talking about. I
something
don't know
about
the
like
name of it.
you know what I'm talking about though. It was like a big two-story house, and like something about I remember a toadstool or something like that. You know, the mushrooms, and
Yeah,
it kind of fell in that line. It sounds
yeah.
like that's gonna eat me up. I've got to figure out what movie that was. We'll think of it after we end the podcast. Uh,
Yeah. You talking about that? That reminds you of Encanto or Elio?
Encanto. It was like a live action movie.
I feel like
Remember
I could
they
kind of
started
picture it a little
they
bit, but
yeah they had remember he made friends with one of them trolls or something like that, and that's whenever he really started learning about all of it, and he didn't it, it started with W something, the wizard, no, um,
was it the
I
Spiderwick
remember
Chronicles?
Spiderwick. That's it. That's exactly it. That
I
that
had to look it up.
that that was it exactly. What'd you type in there to figure that out so fast?
A movie about kids looking through spyglass.
That was it. But I don't remember there being any. You know, I was a kid when I watched it, but I don't remember there being anything like too like witchcrafty type deal in it. You know,
Yeah, there was slight hints of that in Canto, but it wasn't like
it was more along the lines of Narnia or something like that. Something that like you can kind of
yeah,
overlook it
it
as a
wasn't
Christian,
yeah, it wasn't enough to for me personally to really worry about.
like Harry Potter.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It like in Canto, um, all the family members get these special powers, and one of them he gets the power of being able to see in the future. But to see in the future, he has to do this like kind of like these little. And I said ritual, like you're going to be thinking of like druids and whatnot, but it's kind of like kind of like this little ritual where he has to pour like salt and stuff and all this kind of stuff. But
Yeah,
like I said, it wasn't enough to really throw the whole movie off for me.
yeah. But
But yeah,
anyways, I believe we're gonna take a finish that, and we'll take a restroom break.
alrighty. I guess we'll
You
go ahead
done?
and take a rest. Yeah, I got everything now.
But anyways, everybody, you want to tie that into a bow for us, there, Carson?
Yeah, what I'd say is if you got kids out there, I definitely probably wouldn't let them see that. There's a lot of better kids movies out there, even better kids Disney movies out there. I'd let them see. I would,
Yeah.
if I had to rate it, I would give it a 2 out of 10, honestly. But definitely, I
Really?
never, yeah, it was pretty rough, and it's doing kind of rough in the box office, I think. But yeah, I definitely
We
wouldn't
need to get a
want them to see it.
we need to get a thing that pops up that you can put on Twitter or whatever, and it's Pastor Carson does not approve, and you holding up a thumbs down.
Yeah, put a big stamp on it.
then if you approve of one, it gets a Pastor Carson approval.
Yeah, my thumbs up.
y'all, y'all smiling and grinning just ear to ear, holding two thumbs up for that one, and then the other one you just be all frowning, just thumbs down.
Or my arms crossed and just a mad face.
But anyway, let's swing on into something. I got a little bitty topic here, just depending on how fast we run through it, but we'll try it out. Today we were thrift shopping. I love a good thrift store. I'm not against it. In fact, I'm wearing everything I'm wearing besides my underwear. I bought at a thrift store. I'm not brave enough to buy that from there. But anyways, I was shopping, looking through the aisles. We were at Goodwill, and I skirted down the men's aisle and was flipping through there and found me a shirt, and there was a man that I had passed originally, and I thought I was in his way, and I asked him, "Am I in your way?" And he said, "No, I'm just working my way through here slowly." And I kind of chuckled and went on about my business across the aisle, so we had a shirt rack in between us. And anyways, as I'm sitting there flipping through the shirts, I noticed this guy, he is talking to himself, and he's having a full-on conversation. And like, I just kind of made a mental note of it, if you ever see that, you kind of like, well, okay. But, and I'm not judging the guy. I don't know what shoes he's wearing, his walk of life or wherever he's at, but it just kind of puts you on edge a little bit. And that's probably not the right word for it, but you just kind of make a mental note of somebody like that. And I mean, I'm flipping through the shirts, I'm minding my own business, quiet, and looking through there, and I picked me out a couple that I find I ain't made the final decision on, and he picks up one, and it's a blue shirt, and he says, "I like this blue shirt. I think I can wear this." And just full-blown conversation. This will look good if I take it and wear it with this. And I mean, at this point, I'm trying not to stare or anything, and then he works his way on around down kind of to where I am, and he pulls one off the rack, and it was a vest, and he gives me a full explanation on what he could wear with this and how many vests he has at his house. And I just kind of make a mental note and kind of try to separate myself a little bit while I walk on down a little bit. And here he comes again, and he's having full on conversation, and he just reaches over there, he pulls out a shirt, and it's got like the Georgia football logo on it,
Yeah.
And I try to be friendly. I know that everybody isn't as fortunate, or you meet all sorts of different folks on your daily path. And he says, "That'd be a pretty nice shirt right there." And yeah, it was like extra small, and if I were to put that on, I'd look like Muscle Man, and I ain't that by any means. And I was being nice. I said, "Yeah, but I pulled for Alabama," and boy, that just set him on a tirade of talk right there. Did you see that game that was so and so years ago? Saban basically gave it to him, and by this point, I have no clue as to what he's talking about. I'm catching Saban here, and every now and then I hear a football here, and I'm trying to really make sense. So every time he pauses, yeah, oh, I agree, and having no clue as to what I'm agreeing to or anything. And he just went on. It got to the point where Goodwill was about to close. We came in there about the last 15 minutes, and he had me for every bit of 10 of them. And he had me so long. My wife had done walked over and kind of signaled to me, "Hey, we need to be making our way to the door," But at this point, I done got so vested, or at least he thinks I'm so vested in this conversation that I can't break out, because by that point it's like rude if I say, "Well, I stop him," "Well, I got to be going," or something like that. But finally, I guess he caught that I was. Not that I wasn't invested or anything, but he kind of realized, oh, I need to be making my way, and I was like, "Ooh, thank the Lord." And me and my wife got to laughing in the car ride home. It's I guess kind of ugly to call him a weirdo, but you could tell he didn't. He was one of them that you didn't have all of his ducks in a row. Kind of
Kind of,
strange, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah, character,
yeah.
kind of eccentric, I guess, and stuff. And I told Kenzie, whenever somebody gets weird with me from now on like that, I'm gonna double down and get weirder. And if they go talking about something, I'm gonna come out of left field. It come out of left field talking about lily pads on the pond or something like that. I'm talking about I'm
Yeah, he over talking to
just
church. He'd go home. And, I met this showing up weirdo today. He was talking about lily pad.
yeah yeah, holding up a football shirt. When a frog croaks, it means he's having a stroke, and just something make him just even kind of clutch his pearls and just
Did he?
you ever met anybody like that? I know you
Oh yeah.
have.
Uh huh.
But did he what? I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Did he didn't seem like he was on anything. He was just kind of a character.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like if he wasn't on anything, I think he might have been on something at an earlier part in his life, and
Yeah.
it not being judgmental or anything, but not.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not somebody I'd hand a house key and say, "Hey, check on my dogs."
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Definitely not.
Like I,
Yeah. I know what you're saying. Yeah. I
but like
I definitely come
whenever
across many of them.
whenever like we got in the car and stuff, it was one of them that I just couldn't do anything but scratch my head. You know what I'm saying?
Uh huh. Oh yeah, I bet as a pastor we're gonna be coming across them just about on a daily basis too, though.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm sure we'll be a little bit more versed in how to handle that and
Mm-hmm.
kind of not really. I even hate to say folks like them because they're people too. If you
Yeah. Oh yeah.
understand what I'm saying, like I'm not trying to lump him in there to loony bin or anything like that. I'm
Yeah.
just simply
He was
saying
just a
that.
character. He was just a character.
Yeah,
That's all. It wasn't up to just a character.
yeah.
Yeah.
I,
I know what you're saying.
he was friendly as could be. He wasn't ugly or anything. Like I didn't feel like in danger or anything. But he was just what
Just
I'm
kind of
saying.
yeah, kind of in a world of his own.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Like it, I think he was wearing water shoes and and stuff. I'm not laughing at what he's wearing, but
No,
it
yeah,
just
it's still just kind of funny wearing water shoes.
yeah. And it,
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I don't know.
I, yeah, I mean, we're not judging the folks, but I mean, everybody
You
comes
can't
across some
help but laugh
characters.
sometimes,
Uh-huh. That
and it,
be
it's,
kind of send him on. Probably everybody he comes across is talking about him. Be able to send him on. Oh, I sure enough met this weirdo. He was talking about lily pads and a frog having a stroke today. He's a very.
see him like locking his car door as I walk out to Goodwill.
He's trying to avoid having a conversation with.
just just double down on it
Yeah, he
whenever
sees you
he starts walking away.
he sees you coming. He's oh crap! I got to talk to him again.
You see him looking around, looking for the exit. He trying to think of it. You see just you see him pull out just something crate like a banana out of his pocket and fake a phone call right there. Just
Yeah, he been talking about Alabama, 20-year-old Alabama football game in there to everybody. He trying his best to keep away from you. Talking about lily pads.
yeah. It's like one time too. I was coming out of Walmart and I just happened to look over there and there was a guy sitting beside like the smoking station where the trash cans and all are.
Yeah.
And I mean, this guy was having a full blown conversation. I don't know how deep it could have been with a trash can, but I mean, he was letting that trash can have it. just just to see somebody like that would make a normal person kind of pearl clutch and oh well, that's nice. Just it'd be funny to make somebody like that like go to lock the door. As they're walking away, like they're checking to make sure they still have their pocket. I mean, wallet in
Uh-huh.
their pocket and stuff.
Yeah, I wonder how many of those, that are just like rambling, yeah, I wonder how many of those are like actually like, I don't know if it's like possessed, but or if a lot of them are like putting on in a way to kind of, make themselves out to be some like crazy person. You know what I'm talking about?
Like actually, like he gets a kick out of making other people like pearl
Like,
clutch, kind of like me and you were talking about. Like,
yeah, maybe not him necessarily, because he seemed like probably a nice guy, just kind of like I said, in a world of his own. But the
yeah,
people that
just
are just like,
eccentric.
yeah, just kind of like screaming at trash cans and whatnot. Like, like,
I mean, he was in depth. He was probably the guy that talking the trash can. He was sitting on the bench and he had his arm up there, and I mean, he was just chatting away to that trash can.
yeah, because I remember that one video. It was an ugly video. I mean, it was nasty language. I wouldn't consider looking it up, but it was that lady. She was out there and that screaming and whatnot. She looked like she was homeless, and she was out there screaming and whatnot. And that dude went up to her and told her to shut up. And like as soon as he said it, like a switch flipped in her. She was right back to reality. And
Yeah,
and he was kept yelling at her, and she was telling him like politely to go away and whatnot. And
it's whenever somebody faking crazy meets somebody crazy in a way. Or
uh huh. When fake crazy meets real crazy. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't recommend going out and trying to out crazy him, but I don't know, 'cause you might find you showing up weird on there.
It'd be my luck. I'd come out of left field. Yeah, whenever the frog sitting on the lily pad croaks, he has a stroke. Just something wild like that. He'd double down on it and.
Come to think of it, I was looking at my grandma's lily pads. Yeah, you had a 15-minute conversation, now you had a 45-minute conversation.
Now, do the frogs at your lily pads are are they on dialysis too? Just 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 I don't know, dude. It's funny, but also ain't funny if he was really like had a problem. I don't want to laugh at him, but
No, I
yeah,
mean I don't think laughing like that is mean. That like laughing at if you're poking fun at him and making fun of him, then it's one thing. But if you're just like laughing because he's just doing something goofy, then that's different.
yeah. But well, let's roll on into the next topic.
All right, what was the next topic? Was it the
I believe you want to talk about. We were going to move on into Bible time. Uh,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Can't
we were
forget
just
that
kind
on
of
the
going.
biblical podcast, can
Well,
we?
we've made a lot of it biblical, and today instead of jumping in the Bible, I think we're just going to discuss. What did you say that you want to discuss? Uh,
Yeah,
righteous jealousy.
right. Yeah, righteous jealousy. Cause that was something I was kind of thinking like, what is righteous jealousy? Because God's, himself, he's jealous. He's a jealous God. He doesn't want us worshiping no other gods, which there ain't no other gods, but he don't want us worshiping nothing else but him, because that's all we're made to worship. How can we uh, have righteous jealousy? It, and I kind of saw a video not too, or I think it was earlier tonight. You know, we might have righteous jealousy in a way, like with our wives. You know, we don't want our wives, getting around with other men, or our husbands getting around with other women, and
Yeah.
that to me is a good example of it. That's the only one I can really come up with.
I don't know. Righteous. What would we say? Jealousy.
Yeah,
What about like if you see like I know that me and you, in a way, I guess we have a tinge of it with each other, as if it making any sense. Like you you get asked to do something, I'm like, man, I'm happy for him. I hope I can do that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And vice versa. But it's not the type of jealousy where if you got asked to preach in front of 100 people, I'd be just wroth with it and like
uh huh,
trying to cause you to stumble or anything. I'd give you all the encouragement and help I could, but I would also be like, man, I hope I can do that one day too, or I
yeah,
get a chance.
yeah. You put it to me in a good way. You were like a. I don't think I'd be jealousy because, like what you said to me, like if it was me, like if I got to preaching, just say I got to preach in front of some big church, like it'd be jealousy for you to say, he don't deserve to be up there. I deserve to be up there.
Yeah,
But it wouldn't be jealousy for you to say like, man, that's awesome. But I hope I wish it was. I don't even know if it was jealous. I was about to say I don't know if it'd be jealousy to say I wish it was me, but it'd be that
I
might
think
be
that
it.
would.
Yeah, I think that might be a slight jealousy. But I don't think it'd be jealousy to say, dang, I wish I could do that too. I don't think that would be necessarily jealousy. I don't. Maybe
No, I
not.
don't think that would.
I because I mean I I don't know. I I
Let us
don't
know
know. Now
your
I done
thoughts on
twist
it,
myself
everybody
up.
who listens.
Yeah, yeah. Y'all give us better opinions on it than us. Cause that's still a fresh topic. I'm kind of starting to unravel a little bit. It's an interesting topic. It's about as
It
interesting as like
is.
righteous judging. That's one I'm still trying to pick together and work out. You know, how do
To
you
me,
judge righteously?
that'd be like me judging you. Like if, let's say that you had a moment of weakness or something, or did something, and I see it, and I judge you for it. Oh, he's living in sin. He ain't nothing but no sinner and stuff. But then again, I've got my own problems I'm working through, and whenever what I need to do is overcome my problems, and then offer a hand to help you
Yeah.
out of love and kindness, versus just trying to, if you get up there to preach or something and you stumble and look at this man, look at him. You know what I'm saying? Like
Uh huh.
look at his flaws and everything he does wrong. Versus how me and you are. Like if we dealing with something, we try to pick each other up, and
Yeah.
you can judge the sin. Like you can judge if somebody's sinning or something like that, and say, hey, I don't think this man right here. Like if you have a deacon of the church and he cheats on his wife, it's not wrongful to judge and say, well, man, you can't be a deacon anymore. The sin is, we just can't have it
Yeah.
as a
Yeah. I agree. And
predominant member of this church. We have to set an example and try to lead by example, and
yeah, you kind of disqualify
we just
yourself in
can't
that
have.
way.
Yeah, and that's not like sinful, like judgment, like judging wrongfully to say, well, you don't need to be in that position anymore. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's just kind of pruning the church.
Yeah, and a lot of times I feel like that a lot of that stuff will work itself out. I don't know. I'm kind
Yeah.
of getting unraveled too
Yeah.
now,
Yeah,
but
we both kind of got too deep and got our wires crossed. Yeah.
but going back to it, you to me it's something that I know how to judge righteously. Like if I look at somebody and like like I said, if you slipped up and stuff and did something that you weren't supposed to, if I came to you and said, "Man, you better than this, come on," and didn't like, oh, well, you ain't nothing but an old sinner, Carson. You ain't ever gonna be nothing else but that. And look at me, I'm so much better than you. Why would you even be in this position? Versus if I said, man, pick yourself up out of that mud and dust yourself off and let's go spread the gospel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, I guess the best way to put it would be like righteous judging is kind of extending a hand to pull you up out of that ditch, whereas like unrighteous judging is, pushing you deeper in the ditch in a way.
Right. That's a good way to put it. Like somebody sitting there coming up for air to breathe, and you putting your foot down there and holding their head underwater.
Uh-huh. Yeah, what are you doing in this water? You know you can't swim. You know you can't swim like I can.
I'm gonna let you drown.
Yeah, we kind of skipping out on the Proverbs this time. I left my Bible at the church after.
I started Judge wrongfully just then.
It's probably deserved.
Look at him. He can't even remember to get his Bible. Some some
Yeah, you can
that
tell he
that
don't
would be
read
like wrongfully.
it.
Versus if I say, oh well, we'll roll on with it. We'll read from mine, brother.
Uh-huh.
You know.
Now, another thing would be kind of interesting is like, how do you righteously judge maybe like a preacher or something that's telling something like wrong? I don't know. Like calling out
That's
like false prophets. That's in a way like if I'm saying, oh, what he's saying right there is wrong. It can't be judging because I
no.
don't know.
There's a
It's
difference
a
between
way.
that. If the Holy Spirit reveals and mediates to you that what this man is saying right here is wrong, he's leading all these people astray. It's kind of our duty as Christians to say no. I
Yeah.
ain't being no part of this right here.
Yeah.
You leading people on the path to hell because it's out of love versus coming to somebody and out of hatred and like because
Yeah.
like if I hated you I would judge you wrongfully
Uh-huh.
like kind of what we talked about if somebody shows up in church and one person's real dressed up nicely and oh let me shake your hand and I think James kind of touches on it. You could kind of tie that into it, judging wrongfully, like showing. I forget what he called it, but where you want to shake the rich man's hand and give him the best seat in the house, but the poor man you say here sit at my foot, and don't have nothing to do with him.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess
It,
guess what I was wondering is like where the fine line is on that. Where
yeah, if it's something that to me, if somebody's out there and they're preaching, Jesus isn't real or Jesus is a false prophet and stuff like that, like we've had people comment on our TikToks and stuff like that, those loonies. It, it, most of the time we just delete them and stuff. But if it was somebody came into our church and started spewing that mess or started saying something about Jesus or it's kind of our duty to call it out. I would probably, if I'll just give you an example. Like if, let's say Michael invited somebody to preach. This is totally hypothetical. Nothing like this has ever happened if he ever hears this or anything. But my course of action would be, I'd probably go directly to him first and say,
yeah, uh-huh.
Michael, I just can't get behind what he's saying. I think that he's wrong. And it's kind of our duty as pastors and stuff, if we're a member of the congregation and flock, to a good shepherd looks over the flock, just like
Yeah.
David, he killed the bear and lion that came to take some of the sheep, kill a sheep and stuff like that, and just like Jesus looks over us too, and because he's called the good shepherd, nobody will pluck one out of his hand. My my course of action would be I'd go directly to Michael and I'd say, Michael, man, this is raising red flags for me. And I would voice my concern to him and take it up the chain of command, you see.
Yeah.
And
as opposed to
you know,
standing up in the middle of the sermon and yelling at him.
I'm not gonna say that I wouldn't if he
No,
was
I agree. I said that, but as soon as I said, I was
if
like,
it
you know what? If it,
it depends on the severity of it. Like if
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just like a
yeah.
little thing that he
If
may
he's like,
like he
yeah, if
may have
he's
got his
standing up
wires
saying like,
crossed on something.
yeah, like if he's standing up saying
But if
like Jesus ain't God or something, or Jesus is a false prophet, yeah, then it's time to, you know,
stand
kind
up
of
and voice it, just
maybe even like show your rear end a little bit in the middle of church. You kind of, you know,
but if it's just
that's got to
something that
be
you can't
cut
agree
right
on,
there.
like a lot of people are very decisive on alcohol, or you know what I'm saying. If it's just something that you don't agree on, that you can give the possibility that maybe it's me not understanding what he's saying or something like that, I'd probably just take it up the chain of command and go directly to Michael and say, is it me? Is it something? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it
Yeah.
me just not getting it, or does this man get? Do you think he was a little off on this too? And a good preacher like Michael, he takes note and acts accordingly, and somebody that I strive to be like, you know, like how
Yeah.
he actually cares, and you feel heard if you like if I go to him with a question and I asked him about once saved always saved, and he didn't just shoot me down or anything like that. I was telling him, you know, I can see both sides, and the more I get into the Bible, the more I see that like once truly saved always saved, and he kind of explained it to me and made me see it in a clearer sight. To where, but going back to that, how if it was something that it may just be me not understanding, I'll I would probably just ask Michael about it and get his opinion and thoughts. But if it's something just blasphemous or something like that, I would stand up and, buddy, you missed you out there in left field, rein it in.
Uh, no, I agree 100%. Yeah, there's definitely a fine line there, but there there's a there's definitely a line there. And
Yeah,
when it's crossed, there's got to be action taken, and it's definitely got to be righteous judging. And sometimes, kind of sum things up what we're saying. Sometimes you gotta. I mean, I've never seen it, but like things get to like if somebody's up there saying something blasphemous in the pulpit, it's up to us to nip that in the bud right there, right then and there.
right. But everybody, I believe that wraps us up. I thank you for tuning in and listening. This has been Preacher Colby,
It's Preacher Carson.
and we'll catch you next go round. Good night, everyone.